Hi, I'm Lisa Valor-DeJong, part of NMSU's space program, Spreading Peace and Countering Extremism. Today I'm speaking with Dr. Chu from the Galisteo Consulting Group. Did I say it correctly?
Yes, you said it correct.
Okay. And we were wondering if you could talk to us a little bit about the differences and similarities in social media between the US and Russia, and then also talking a little bit, even though it's secondhand knowledge, a little bit about the Confederate statues and seeing how international influences our discourses within the US.
Okay, yeah, so I should say I've been following social media in both Russian and English for about 3 years. I got onto Facebook actually around the time. A friend of mine from the former Soviet Union who had studied in the area where the Russians are currently in eastern Ukraine. He'd been at college there, so I kind of got back in touch with him. And basically, what I've observed, I observed over the last 3 years, sort of this information warfare, I'll call it, going on between pro-Russian people and pro-Ukrainian people in the Russian language space. And then over the last year, obviously, we've had our 2016 presidential election in the US, and I had a sense of deja vu. I had a sense that things that I was seeing in the English language space in America were exactly the kind of things that I had been seeing for the last 3 years in Russian.
Wow.
Just kind of claims and unwillingness to sometimes engage with the truth and be convinced by the truth, and a lot of deception, quite frankly. And then your second question was?
I was wondering if you could talk about how Russian influence on the social media has impacted our social media discourses and what you've seen kind of changes in rhetoric and tone.
And you were asking, I think, specifically about the Confederate statues
Correct.
issue. So I can't speak from first-hand influence here, but I know that through the current Senate Intelligence Committee hearings that are going on in DC, there's been talk of how Russians have taken both sides of certain issues. So if you take the Confederate statues as an example of that, the Russians may be trying to feed both the Black Lives Matter side and the white supremacist side. And the idea really is not so much even to advance a position as just to pit Americans against one another.
Interesting. What do you wish that Americans, particularly students at NMSU and in our area, were more aware of and more cognizant of in social media?
Just obviously, this should go without saying, but not everything is true. A lot of things in social media, and I say this really as someone who uses social media, and probably you do as well, but a lot of things in social media are designed to press your buttons and to get you to react on an emotional level as opposed to with critical thinking. And so the thing I really wish that more people would do is think critically about the things that we read and not just assume, not let your buttons get triggered too quickly. Question things.
Yeah. Are you willing to, what is it like when you engage with people with different points of view on social media? What are your experiences of not having your buttons being pushed?
Well, I think part of it is, like I said, in any kind of negotiation, you always want to be able to walk away. So if you're involved in certain conversations and it's just, you feel about buttons getting pressed or it's just not getting anywhere, you can walk away from that, obviously, and not feel any worse for it. I personally try and go out and actually seek people with opposing viewpoints, and I think nowhere more do I do that than when I blog in Russian and I respond to people's blogs in Russian. And obviously the sort of points of view that are getting expressed in Russian language social media are not the sort of points of view that we're necessarily used to on the English language space, and that's part of what my research is about. But I like going out and actually seeking out those opposing points of view. And there are people, who will have a good conversation with you, even if they don't agree with you. So there are people out there who are willing to be persuaded and willing to listen. And I hope I'm willing to listen to them too.
Definitely. All right, thank you so much. And you can look up Galisteo Consulting, galisteoconsulting.com, and then also please check out NMSU's space program. So look up NMSU, SPACE, for looking at countering extremism. Thank you so much.
Well, thanks for having me today.